Good morning. Welcome back to a new week and another series of Anchored in the Word Morning Reflections. As we work our way through this passage of Scripture this week, our focus is going to be on the second coming of Christ, and we're going to look at both the comfort of the second coming of Christ as well as the terror that is associated with all the events that will take place during that time period. And if you've been a part of our Sunday morning worship services, you'll see that we've actually spent several weeks dealing with this passage of Scripture because there are a lot of different pieces to the story that need to be looked at and analyzed. And so this week we'll look at this blend of comfort and terror. And so let's go ahead and take our Bibles, turn together as we read this text. Again, it's Luke chapter 21, and we're going to begin reading in verse number 20. It says, "And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. Let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. And these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. There shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. They shall fall by the edge of the sword, shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled." Now, we're actually going to look at more than just the verses that I just read, but I want us to focus in on the big picture before we look at details. First of all, balance. When we look at a topic like the day of the Lord, or the second coming of Christ, or the tribulation, or the rapture, we need to recognize this is a very complicated discussion. There's lots of nuance. There are lots of details that we have to keep very careful notice of. Sometimes condensing all this material and then trying to put it out in a way that people can easily follow is not easy. So it's a complicated discussion. And there are a lot of pieces to this concept. Now, this week we're looking at really two pieces. One would be the destruction of Jerusalem, which was an event that was going to take place near the time of Christ. And then we talk about the second coming of Christ, which is something that is imminent, but we don't know exactly when that will take place. There could be thousands and thousands of years of history between this prophecy and the second coming of Christ. We know at least 2,000 years have passed because of our proximity to these events and the fact that Christ has not yet returned. But we can see there's a lot of pieces to it. And the third thing I'll say about this balance is that when we look at this issue, either we're going to be comforted by it or we're going to be fearful. And the response has everything to do with how we're related to God. If we see God is coming to rescue us, we are comforted by these things. If we see God coming to judge us, then this is something we're afraid of. Or if we think about the events that people will live through during this time period, that would cause fear. It's also important to recognize that when the Scripture talks about the second coming of Christ, it actually speaks of the day of the Lord and the events that are around that time as something that God will preserve his children from, though there will be believers who live through it, who are people that are converted during that time period. And so, again, a complicated discussion. I also want to make three observations in our introduction in addition to these things. Christ's teaching is general. It's silent on a lot of details. We have to look at other scriptures to get those details. His purpose for choosing to not articulate some of these details is not because he's unaware of them. It's because his goal is not to give a detailed timeline or to address all the curiosities that people have. His intention is to help people to be faithful no matter what they're living through, no matter what period of time they live in relationship to these details. So he wants them to see big picture. He wants them to be faithful. He wants them to persevere. And the reason for that is that suffering is real. It's a reality that every generation of Christians has faced. It's also true that in the midst of that suffering, God will, and he has, and he will in the future, preserve his people. He gives them the grace that they need to endure each of these challenges. He sustains them. He ultimately delivers them, and that deliverance is certain. So when we look at this text, I would summarize it in the following way. Despite all the terror that will take place in the last days, Christ offers real hope with promises that he is coming again. We must proceed in this process, everything that we experience in life through this lens, that there is a promise, he is coming, and this promise is that his coming is imminent. Well, I hope that gives you some things to think about, and I hope that you'll join us this week as we work our way through this discussion. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Lord willing, we'll dig into a lot throughout the week. Join us for that. Have a blessed rest of your day. Lord willing, we'll meet again tomorrow. Bye now.